I'd like to welcome Esther Caruso Golleher to the stage. She is our executive director here at the Women's Resource Medical Center, and she is going to share our shareholder address and talking about this vision that we have heading forward. Put your hands together for Esther.
Good evening, shareholders in life. It is so great to finally be able to see your beautiful faces. Although we've been apart, we have never lost the unity of our hearts, and we have felt and experienced your prayers for this mission. We are so grateful for each and every one of you. Since we didn't get together for a gala in 2020, I want to give you a quick update, because God's plans for this ministry were far above what we could have ever expected or imagined. He seriously blew us away and exploded our mission to save lives. The need for a compassionate, gospel-based, pro-life response in that time of fear and uncertainty was greater than ever. Back then, reports had predicted that with the ensuing damage from rampant unemployment and the lingering effects of the pandemic, an increase in pregnancies due to quarantine would lead to a COVID baby bust rather than a COVID baby boom. A baby bust is defined as a period of sharp decrease in the birth rate. So think about that for a second. Two contrasting predictions. One, an increase in pregnancies, and the other, a sharp decrease in births. The only conclusion being a rise in abortions. When our governor announced the statewide shutdown in March of 2020, he outlined what he deemed to be essential and non-essential. If you recall, he was clear about distinguishing between essential and non-essential health care as well, and many patients had to postpone their care if their procedure was not considered an emergency, but rather elective. And the loss of revenue for the healthcare industry was substantial as well. But everyone at that time was willing to comply. Everyone except the abortion industry. Abortion clinics exist to perform elective abortions, and in response to the guidance of the CDC for health systems to cancel elective and non-urgent procedures, all 9 abortion clinics in our city remained open. The reason is profit and greed. The abortion industry was capitalizing on the increased fear that women were facing. Even leading up to our citywide shutdown of non-essential businesses, our organization was fielding an increase in clientele seeking abortion services. Even women who were originally planning to parent but ended up being affected by the mass layoffs were not only fearful of their financial situation, but also their uninsured or underinsured position to receive care. I am honored to report that this mission field was not abandoned during the COVID-19 shutdown that lasted from March 17th through May 9th, 2020. We never closed our doors, and we were flooded with divine appointments. Our staff, volunteers, courageously, sacrificially, and enthusiastically saw the opportunity to serve. And during that time, 500 babies were saved from abortion. Our theme tonight is Image of God, Image Bearer. Genesis 1:27 says, So God created man in his own image. In the image of God created he him. Male and female created he them. What an amazing and awesome truth this is. Humanity is so precious to God that human life has been personally designed to be made in the Creator's image. Can you imagine if all humanity were fully persuaded and convinced of this truth and lived by this truth, how it would organically create harmony? If we all loved each other and valued each other in light of this truth, if we were truly able to believe that because of this truth, all humanity has dignity and value. Isn't this truth the foundation of the gospel? Scripture tells us that God is eternal, and so are we. God is love, God is creator, we are creation, and we are loved. Our Creator, who made us in his image, wants to be known to his creation, and he designed us to know him and to worship him. Even as we bear the image of God by nature, we do not do so perfectly. Sin distorts and disrupts it, but it does not destroy it. Instead, it reminds us of our need for the only one who perfectly represents God, Jesus, who is the image of the invisible God. Even in our brokenness, as we are shattered by sin and unrighteousness, God's love for us declared that we are worth redeeming. For he so loved us that he gave his one and only begotten Son, that whosoever believes shall not perish but have everlasting life. And for those who have been redeemed and have received the grace and mercy from our Creator, we are commissioned by him to spread this truth. As a faith-based Christian organization, this essential truth is what drives our mission. We know that we are vessels that can help to save the lives of unborn children. We do so by sharing the love of Jesus Christ with their parents. That is why, that's awesome. That is why we seek to understand and meet the needs, fears, and concerns of both the mother and the father of the unborn child. The care model that we have established shows pro-life activity from a whole life perspective. The care model embraces and supports the entire family who are challenged by an unintended pregnancy, pouring the love of God into their lives so that they can realize that their lives are precious in his sight. With all we are witnessing in the world today, where people are desperately searching for identity, where fear and suffering are dominating many, where political preference decrees our expression for whose life matters. This mission and message of the sanctity of human life is essential. While we define the population who we are called to serve, and we assess their challenges in order to support them, we do so realizing first and foremost the lens through which they are seeing their situation. A young couple came into the center for a pregnancy test, and throughout the assessment process, they expressed their intent to abort. They didn't believe that the child would have a good life, since they were struggling, and it was evident that they themselves were without hope for a future. Their view of this pregnancy and of themselves can be defined as a net negative. The asset of human life becomes negative in value when outweighed by the debt of circumstance. When you have a perspective of the life issue through this lens, there isn't much hope to be found. And unfortunately, society affirms this view. Society affirms it by not providing pregnancy support and resources, but rather an abundance of abortion clinics. Is this really the way to give people a choice, or is it discriminatory toward a particular population? Think about that for a second. Here is an example. Did you know that CDC statistics report that Black women abort their babies 3 to 4 times more than white women? This means that they are more apt to perceive that the child in their womb is a net negative and nothing good can come from that child's life. It's not like 50-50. No, 51% is negative, so it's better for that child not to come into the world. That's what she has been conditioned to believe. And the community that supports her in that decision and even encourages that decision and markets that perspective to her actually believes the same thing. So, if a woman was about to have an abortion and someone came in and said, "Hey, listen, we got this news that the child that you're carrying in your womb, when she's 17, she's going to make this discovery that's going to make her the richest person in the world." Do you think that woman would still have an abortion? Probably not. Her current situation didn't change. What changed? How she and society view the child. It went from being a net negative to a net positive. This example, in effect, branches through to the overall population of those who are deemed worthy or unworthy by society to have healthy families. This is where we come in and counter our culture by actively calling out this injustice while exemplifying what is right, true, and just. Abortion is not empowerment. We exist to help families navigate what our culture describes as an unplanned pregnancy. As people of faith who understand that while the pregnancy may not be planned or expected by the parents, the Creator of human life has a plan and a purpose for everyone. We help parents to see past their current circumstance and realize their potential in the eyes of their Creator. He provides this hope for humanity in Jeremiah 29:11. "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." There is no such thing as an unplanned soul when it comes to the Creator of human life. To show them this hope, it is important for us to understand the conditions that surround the decision to abort. The fundamental model of this pregnancy care center is purposed to encourage a choice for life by acknowledging the challenges that are driving the decision to abort and providing tangible assistance in order to partner through those encounters. It is an astonishing statistic to see that 93% of all abortion decisions are driven by economic reasons or a lack of support. The circumstances that these parents face present real trials. Just for a moment, try to imagine how you would feel if you were presented with a financial commitment with a price tag of at least half of what you earn annually, and the entire payment was due in full within 9 months. Do you know that here in our state, for a single uninsured pregnant woman to be eligible for Medicaid, she has to make under $17,000 a year? We have had clients express that if they were to cut back their hours at work in order to make less money just so that they could access care, they wouldn't be able to pay their rent. The cheapest price we found for a cash patient to receive full prenatal care and delivery is $10,000. In addition, it has been estimated that the cost of caring for a newborn within the first year of their life is $7,000. The health of infants and children are intertwined with the health of mothers. Disparities in health outcomes exist in women experiencing unintended pregnancy. According to Healthy People 2030, women who experience unintended pregnancies are more likely to delay prenatal care and have mental and physical health problems. Nationally, the unintended pregnancy rate is roughly 43%, but in Nevada, it is roughly 52%. Maternal fetal health indicators include maternal death, maternal mental health and safety, adverse fetal outcomes, including abortion, death, preterm birth, and low birth weight. Did you know that we are the only organization in the entire state of Nevada that offers free prenatal care? Our programs address each of the significant maternal fetal health areas by increasing access to health care among populations experiencing health disparities, decreasing the financial burden associated with pregnancy and parenting, increasing maternal health and safety screening, improving health, knowledge, and behaviors pre- and post-conception, and improving infant and toddler health and safety. Maternal and paternal stress impacts pregnancy outcomes for the entire family. Our counseling program exists to help both men and women. 86% of women who have abortions are unmarried. It is imperative that we acknowledge the great value of fatherhood and the sanctity of marriage and family. In our program model, we recognize that men experiencing unintended pregnancy also face a myriad of physical, emotional, and spiritual issues. Our Fatherhood Mentoring program is purposed to minister to the needs, fears, and concerns of the father and provide them with the support and guidance for their very important role. Pregnancy and parenting classes help parents become confident and competent parents, promote economic self-sufficiency, and reduce social and health discrepancies. Our educational classes are comprehensive and encourage participation of all family members that will benefit. These classes have demonstrated outcomes that inspire healthy, supportive, and whole families. Our baby boutique is set up as a retail store where clients can shop with the points that they earn through taking our educational classes. The points equate to real currency value to help reinforce household budgeting skills. The boutique offers maternity clothes, infant and toddler clothing, diapers, formula, car seats, cribs, strollers, and more. Clients may utilize the boutique all the way up until their baby is 3 years old. This care model has proven to be successful. Last year, we served 7,351 client visits who accessed our programs free of charge. The breakdown of this value to our community is significant. The total program value is over $1 million, which in effect represents the economic impact that we made for our community. In addition, our volunteers served almost 10,000 hours, and the value of our medical volunteer professional hours served came to a little over $60,000. The ultimate outcome, however, results in saving the lives of 1,776 babies. Praise the Lord. Yes, these lives are worth cheering for. With this knowledge of incredible results that we have been able to realize year after year, we are equipped to expand and multiply our effort to save even more lives here in our community and now across our great nation. Women's Resource Medical Centers has always been known as the busiest pregnancy care facility in our nation, and because of this, we embraced the challenging effort to establish this new model of care, knowing that we have the potential to double and even triple our impact here in our own community. The strategic plan to create and implement this new model came with extreme challenges, but thanks be to God, we were able to not only overcome them, but also come to the conclusion that all pregnancy centers face these same growth restrictions. That is why we are passionate about extending this model for every pregnancy center who has a desire to grow. We already completed the hard work, and in doing so, we designed the path forward. Therefore, we are preparing a franchised offering to train, mentor, and equip other life-saving organizations to successfully adopt our new innovative pregnancy center model. Since abortion became legal nationwide in 1973, we grieve over 65 million babies who have lost their lives to abortion. But did you know that pregnancy centers across our nation saved a combined total of 12 million lives? This means that 1 out of every 25 people you see on the street, at work, at church, or at a sporting event would not exist except for the faithful labors of tens of thousands of pregnancy center volunteers, staff, and donors. Here in our local mission field, since Women's Resource Medical Centers opened its doors in 1985, over 48,000 lives have been saved. So, realizing the value chain of existing pregnancy centers across our nation, Women's Resource Medical Centers seeks to unify our value proposition through a franchised offering that will cultivate a reputation for effective intervention across our nation. This unified effort will allow pregnancy centers to easily differentiate our offerings and realize a strategic advantage over abortion clinics. In addition, we know that as we establish a national brand and combine the statistics that highlight our impact, the message of the sanctity of human life will be expressed at a higher level, and more hearts and minds will realize the dignity and value of being created in the image of God. Women's Resource Medical Centers has already become a well-known resource for training and equipping pregnancy center leaders and medical staff. Over the last decade, executive directors and medical professionals from across our nation have traveled to Las Vegas to learn from us. We are encouraged that what God is doing here in our city will continue to spread across our nation and eventually worldwide. The value of membership will include economies of scale, national brand identity, executive-level support and training, marketing, advertising, income diversity and sustainability, workforce solutions and training, capital advisory, and innovative software licensing. Yes, we designed our own software unique to this model that will allow higher efficiencies to be realized with the increased volume of anticipated client visits. It's also interactive and Gen Z friendly. It's very important. They don't like being handed a clipboard with a bunch of papers. We are hoping to launch this offering in 2023 as the final conclusion of our own capital campaign that is designed to position us to be fully equipped with the capacity and corporate structure necessary to sustain the full vision. Funding is now essential to complete our franchised model, patented industry software application, program expansion, and capital capacity. We have launched a $50 million capital campaign. Half of that amount is to purchase and build out the property that will house our corporate headquarters, pregnancy clinic and birthing center, adoption agency, parenting support unit, and baby boutique, all of which will continue to grow in support to our own community while modeling a hands-on facility for franchisees. This building happens to be in the heart of the Las Vegas Medical District, as well as in the very center of our city geographically. We are encouraged by our community partners who serve the same population with programs and services that are outside our scope and mission, such as pediatrics, ongoing healthcare, mental health, and recovery programs. Our vision is to create an easier access referral system for our clients by having a one-stop medical campus where other like-minded charitable organizations will share space in our building. This will be so refreshing for our client base, where approximately 75% have transportation challenges. If God is stirring your heart to contribute toward the future of His life-saving organization, please notate the dollar amount of your pledge to be gifted over a 5-year period. These pledge cards are at your table underneath the regular pledge cards that we usually give out for the fundraiser for tonight. This is a God-sized vision, but Michelle always puts it in perspective by saying that it will only take 50 people who God has blessed with the capacity to pledge $1 million over a 5-year period. Go, Michelle. And while that is true, we've also seen God do mighty and powerful works through obedient hearts who can only give a widow's mite. As a nonprofit charitable organization, we operate solely by carrying individuals who give sacrificially for the sake of our clients, for the love of their neighbor. We choose to operate this way because our funding must be in synergy with our mission. We want our clients to feel the love flowing from strangers, to show them that their lives are worth it. We do not require insurance, nor do we charge a sliding scale fee, and we choose not to receive government funding so that our clients will understand that we are not an entitlement clinic, but rather a place that solely exists for them to understand just how much they are loved. Our hope and plan is to raise all the donations necessary to fund this vision so that there will be minimal cost for future franchisees, which will increase the momentum to expand and open thousands of centers quickly across America. Our organization stands at a turning point, now poised to meet the rising challenges of the future. Right now, in our nation and in our world, people are desperate for hope and purpose. God is positioning all of us to declare that He so loved the world that He gave His one and only begotten Son, that whosoever believes in Him should not perish but have everlasting life. Proclaiming the great hope that every human life is planned by and bears the image of their Creator. Thank you for caring about the most innocent among us. While there are so many great causes to support, those causes should always be in addition to, rather than instead of. Because until abortion is no longer thinkable, we are responsible to intercede on their behalf. And there is too much work to do for just a remnant of warriors. An army is necessary, and together it can be done. Thank you, and enjoy the rest of your evening.